Dan, what common challenges do founders face and what can they do to overcome these challenges?
Well, Lloyd, because we're AI influencers, rather than coming up with these, we've actually asked ChatGPT to give us the answers.
Oh, cool. No one's ever asked ChatGPT for anything and made content before.
Well, I mean, this is going to help us come up with actual answers, Lloyd.
Yeah, that wasn't meant to be a dig. It's just like, quite a lot of people online are making stuff to do with ChatGPT, aren't they?
Yeah, well, I mean, it is. Everyone's talking about it.
But luckily, we're making the best content.
Yeah.
Better than all the rest.
Then there is some goodies. There's some goodies here. So I basically asked ChatGPT to come up with 10 of the biggest challenges that founders face. And I thought that you and I could chew the fat and talk through each of these. Some of them are more relevant to us than others.
Mm-hmm.
I think one thing we're not going to do is sit here and pretend we know like all the answers to all these challenges.
Mm-hmm.
But we have got quite a lot of experience in some of these that I think will dive.
Talk through our experience of the biggest challenges that founders have.
Yes.
Great. I'm looking forward to it.
Cool.
So also, hang on, before you move on.
Yeah.
I've never heard you say chew the fat before. Why did that happen?
That's my podcasting language.
Okay, cool. Is that just throwing things in there to
I'm trying to make it sound more interesting, Lloyd.
Okay.
Give me a break.
Yeah. This is so boring. Quick, think of an interesting phrase. Okay.
So are you ready to chew the fat?
I'm always ready to chew the fat.
So how do you want to do this? Do you want to go, say them all and then go into them, or do we go one by one?
Let's go one by one.
Let's go one by one.
Because then we're leaving the listeners on edge. And like, oh, what's the next one? I don't know. I'll have to keep listening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's do that then. So,
but obviously, Dan, the last one is the best one. Don't tell the listeners.
Oh, Lloyd, that last one.
They're going to have to.
I cannot
Have to
believe.
wait. Oh my God! Do you remember what happened to do with that last one? And then that person died. Oh God! Talk about that story later. Okay.
And they get, and from number 1 to number 10, they get more and more and more exciting, and you have to keep listening.
Oh my gosh, number 8. Oh my gosh, there was so much ice cream and blood. Yeah. Anyway, we'll go more into that afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to carry on listening, aren't they?
Okay.
So number 1. So I basically asked ChatGPT. The prompt I used was pretty simple. I probably could have done this in a bit more of an advanced way. I just said, please list common founder challenges.
Is that literally all you're
That's all I
5 words. Okay.
So I know you're ChatGPT expert. You'll probably have a go at me, but it has come up with some good ones.
Yeah. Okay.
So the first one, it says,
developing a solid business plan. Creating a comprehensive and achievable business plan that outlines a clear mission, target market, and a roadmap for growth can be challenging for founders.
I like it how you always finish my
Sandwiches.
sentences.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
That wasn't planned.
Yeah.
But, so you're developing a business plan. I think, have you ever developed a business plan?
Yeah.
Okay. When?
When I was...
Are you making this up? Or
no,
are you?
No.
Go on then.
That's a weird thing to do, isn't it? I don't know if you remember, but when we were both hating our jobs, you were driving to Crawley every day, working for Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Yep.
And I was working for a guy called Jim, who was absolutely horrendous to work with.
Yep.
In a language school. And our dad saw that we were both really struggling in our jobs.
Mm.
And because he loves us both so much, he thought, tell you what,
Right, a business plan.
I'm gonna rescue one of them and give him an opportunity. And he said, Dan, come and work with me for a few months, mate. I'll pay you a wage. I can see you're struggling. Lloyd, you all right, mate? And I remember a few months after, or probably a couple of weeks after that, I was thinking, why doesn't my dad love me? Why doesn't my dad want me to work for him? And I think I wrote a business plan and how I could really grow his business and stuff. And
Did you show it to him?
I don't think so. I never finish anything I start. No, I did.
Can I just clarify?
Yeah.
Like, I think the reason he gave me the chance is because I had a proper meltdown and like instantly quit my job and cried loads and drove home. You were just like not enjoying your job.
Yeah.
I made like a big fuss of it.
Yeah.
Whereas-
You're a bit more. Anyway, so yes, I wrote a bit of a business plan.
Is there some trauma here, Lloyd?
No.
That we need
no.
to. Do we need to go dive CEO Steve Bartlett style? Why did you say that?
And how has that affected how you behave today?
Yeah.
No, I'm exaggerating it. It was Dad, if you're listening, love you lots. Completely understand that you love Dan. And
So anyway, right, let's get into this. Developing a solid business plan. So you developed one when
yeah, but it's probably rubbish. Have you ever rented a business plan?
I did at university. There was a one of the modules was like entrepreneurship, and I had to go in a group of people and develop a business idea and develop a business plan together. We came up with quite innovative at the time. So there's like Amazon lockers now.
Yeah.
We came up with that before they're around, and it was called Drop Point for universities. So we developed a business plan for that. But I think the thing that we got wrong was we focused so heavily on just trying to create a really in-depth, like every single detail you could think of. We were mapping it out and writing it down. We didn't do anything to like try and test to see if anyone actually thought this was a good idea. We just came up with this really long, big plan before actually like even asking anyone if they'd be interested in using this service.
Yeah. So, well, if we just write more about it, that'll make it more of a success.
Yeah. And I think that's I think people can get hung up on that. Like I listened to the My First Million podcast, and the guy on there, Sean Puri, told a story of how he even made like a business plan when he came out of college for this sushi restaurant, and they spent like a year making the plan and like never actually even like set up a website or did anything in a similar kind of way. And he was speaking about like people like to do all this planning to prolong the period of actually doing anything significant.
Not having to actually do the
work.
Like,
Let's keep writing the plan for 5 years.
I would say, obviously, that's being critical of a business plan.
Yeah.
I would say I've met two people who I won't name over the years that have burned through a significant amount of cash that I think they both inherited it actually in different circumstances because they didn't have a business plan. And what the business they started, on reflection, neither of them was ever going to work. One of them was a kind of monthly service where they needed loads of customers to pay a few quid, but they were giving away, I think, an hour of their time to each person each month. And I did the maths and I was like, well, they're
like 2 quid an hour.
If they work 24/7, never sleep, and the only work they do is this hour for each customer, they could earn like 2,000 a month without sleeping or doing anything other than working. So, like, it was a good service, but like the financials, it just literally would never work. And the other one didn't plan anything into how they would get customers. They were just like, oh, if I charge this much, I can provide this service. But of course, when you start a business, you've also got to actually be able to market your business and find customers. And if you're not making enough money to put anything into that, it's never going to work.
And by the way, I wasn't shitting on business plans. I think it's really important to have some kind of plan before like setting out, but you just don't want to spend I think what's more valuable is even spending a small amount of time to do a bit of market research to figure out if anyone's actually interested in what this idea is, or start doing something or creating content around that thing to then start to build an audience of people you could sell to in the end.
Do you want to hear about one of my earliest memories about like a business plan I had in my mind when I was a child?
Go on then.
I don't know if I've ever said this to anyone, but I completely believed, I think I was like 6 or 7 years old, but I believed that like this was going to be a successful business.
Right.
It makes no sense in an adult mind, right? But this is so weird, makes no sense. When you're a kid, you don't realise stuff costs money, right? It's just like, there's just stuff at your house. And it's like, oh, I got that, right?
Was it to sell the stuff at your house? Please don't tell me that was your idea.
We had our first ever like computer at home, and we had like packs of paper. And I had this complex plan in my mind as a kid that I was going to make shoes out of this paper. And I just thought, just get like 50 sheets or like put them together, cut it out. That would be the sole of the shoe. Yeah. And then almost you're basically making a slider. Yeah. And then just get like another 50 sheets, slot it in. Yeah. And in my mind, it was a great business plan because as a kid, paper, free. Yeah. Get it from my dad's office next to the computer.
Sustainable.
So, and then I just sell them. Yeah. and that would be a great. Just keep doing that.
Well, that's how
It's
Nike started, isn't
the
it?
paper's free. And weirdly, I don't know why, but I was so fixated for a couple of years in my mind as a kid that I was gonna create this business, and obviously paper's free, so you can make loads of money making shoes out of paper.
Nice.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to nick that idea,
yeah.
doubt that anyone will.
Yeah. As an adult, doesn't make as much sense.
Yeah. Nice. Well, I don't know what advice people have got from that segment, but
That's this. We did say it was going to start bad, and it's progressively getting better, isn't it? So we had to deliberately not give advice.
In summary, business plans are good. Have some kind of plan, but don't let it prolong actually taking any action. Is that a takeaway?
That is the takeaway.
And make shoes out of paper.
Make shoes out of paper. Paper's free, remember? So that's absolutely fine.
The second one that ChatGPT spat out was
raising capital. Funding is a vital aspect of launching and scaling a business, and many founders struggle with securing funding from investors and other sources.
You really shock me when you do that, because I don't expect you to finish my sentence, genuinely. But.
Hopefully, by the 10th, you won't be shocked.
So this one, I just want to say, I personally, I don't know if you do, Lloyd, I'd have very little experience of raising capital because we've never done it. We've always done this from on a shoestring. And
also a lot of our clients and peers and stuff within business are growing businesses and trying to raise capital and trying to raise cattle, doing their best to bring up these cows, trying to raise capital. And it seems very much the norm for startups and businesses starting now. So I think we're very unusual, the fact we haven't gone down that path. Why? I was going to ask you actually, because this is because I do think these days it's more unusual to start a business in this way, where we're just trying to grow it organically. Why do you think we aren't raising capital or looking into that? Have you got any thoughts on that?
I think that, because I guess what you're saying is we could get investment now and hire 20 more people and like just instantly have loads of people that we could deliver more work and have a whole sales team and stuff.
And to do it, we could use Connected, which is a great online platform to match startup founders with investors.
Is that a paid ad, or is that? That's just one of our clients.
It's
isn't
one
it?
of our clients, yeah.
So I think I think it's to do with the fact that we have quite a good work-life balance. Because I think if we did do that, we would have to spend a lot more time and brain power and like take that energy away from other things in our lives. I feel like it feels a lot less stressful having an investor who's, knocking at the door every month that we have to go back to and say, we hired 20 people and we've got all this new work. And then I don't know, I feel like I really enjoy work. And we are ambitious. We've got ambitious goals, but I feel like I feel happier doing it at the pace that we're doing it at, I guess. I don't know. That sounds really like shitty and that we're not making an effort, but I don't know.
No,
I think we've got...
in my eyes, I think it would almost be easier to go down the raising capital route, because it's kind of like, okay, well, like
chuck a load of money in
it. We've had people that have wanted to invest in Knowlton that have been in contact. We've had people that we don't know get in contact, and we've had agencies that are looking to help other agencies with mergers and acquisitions. I've even had a friend of mine that wanted to invest. I think it'd be quite easy for us to get investment.
Why do you think why aren't we doing it then?
Well, for me personally, I really like and value the lifestyle that we and our team have, and the fact we have balance in our lives, and we're not answering to someone that is basing their decisions purely on profit. And I think when you have investors, then we'd be answering to someone, and our teams would be answering to someone that would be saying, we have to hit these profit goals. What do you need to do that? Oh, you need to do more work. Right. No weekend for you. Oh, you need to fire this person. You need to do that. And I think, for example, we've worked with a client recently who the way they worked, we didn't think was a good fit for our team. And it was really stressing out a number of our team. So we didn't pursue working with them in the future. If we had an investor, they'd been going, you need to take that opportunity. Look at the money on the table. They wouldn't say, oh yeah, good point. You don't want your team to lose nights of sleep. They'd be saying, no, there's financial opportunities there. So for me, that's my decision. But obviously, I completely understand
Yeah.
that our goals aren't aligned with other business owners necessarily.
So what are your top 5 tips for raising capital then?
First tip, go Google Connected. It's connected without the final E. And I'd use their platform. I'd pay $379 for the year and just start interacting with founders and trying to find someone who...
That's actually quite good advice. Their tool
fit.
is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it genuinely is. And I would say if you are a founder that's kind of at the stage of like, well, I don't really know if I'm ready to raise capital yet, or if investors would be interested, that genuinely is a great place to put what you need on the platform and see if people are interested and start those conversations.
Yeah, cool. I'd say we move on to the next one, which is
building a strong team. Recruiting and retaining talented and dedicated employees who share the same vision and goals as the founder can be a daunting task.
Yes, I definitely think we can resonate with this. I think for us, especially as a service-based business, our team and how good they are and how much they're enjoying their job is really at the heart of the work that we deliver, the output that we deliver for our clients. So for us, it's really important that we bring on people that are fully aligned with us and our culture and our values. And I think that's a constant challenge, isn't it? And as the team grows, it becomes more challenging.
I absolutely love our team, and I think they're the strongest ever. And I enjoy coming to work more than ever with the group of people we have now. But it's still an ongoing task to make sure we're all aligned and we are doing what we need to do. And I think it always will be. I think the main reason is because humans are complicated, basically. Like as much as we employ people that align with our values and kind of hopefully want the same things, all of us, even me and you, Dan, like want slightly different things, have different priorities, are at different stages in our lives, have different strengths and weaknesses. And obviously you're hiring a load of people, putting them together and hoping that all works out together and everyone works really well together. It's going to be a challenge, but I think it's something if you work hard at, it just makes such a big difference.
Something I think one element that we're good at with this, I think is kind of our employer branding and how we're portraying our culture here to attract people that align with that. Like especially with our Inside Knowlton kind of vlog series that we produce, showing behind the scenes on a client shoots and things, showing the team's personalities. I think that's something that I feel we're doing a really good job of to attract people that are aligned with that. But I'm sure there's lots more we can do. Like I guess from your experience, if someone listening is thinking, how can I attract decent talent like that's aligned with us? Is there anything that
I suppose I wouldn't have as much focus on attracting the talent. It's more managing people once you're working with them.
Right, okay.
I personally think is the better thing to focus on.
Right, to build,
Because I think truly like trying to communicate to your team exactly what you're aiming for and what you're trying to achieve and your values, but also really trying to understand like what they want to learn, what they're trying to achieve at the moment or in their career, or what they enjoy and that kind of thing. Because I think if you all understand that, you can all work better together and make sure you're all in a good place to do the best work you can. I think a lot of businesses actually don't really give a shit what their employees think or like doing or care about.
But even flipping that on its head and thinking selfishly, if your employees do enjoy coming to work every day, they're going to put more effort in and do a better job for you. So selfishly, it's a good thing to actually be nice to them and treat them well and understand what they want.
We've had a period recently where we had a lot of shoots in a short period of time and people have worked longer hours and stuff, which is very rare for people in our business. And we can see, I know that there's been periods over the last few weeks that people haven't enjoyed as much and have found harder. And that really reaffirms in my mind of like, well, we want to avoid that. We don't want people having to work longer hours or working over weekends and stuff, because I can see that people don't enjoy their day to day as much. And we're not getting the same standard of work if we push people like that. So I think you're right. As much as you want to do it for the right reasons, there's a benefit for the business as well.
Yeah, cool. Moving on to the next one that ChatGPT gave us, Lloyd.
Managing finances. Proper financial management is essential for the success of any business. Founders must keep track track of their expenses, monitor cash flow, and manage their budgets. The first three sounded professional. That one couldn't speak.
So story time.
Hmm.
Back in the day, we used to use Excel spreadsheets to track our income, didn't we, Lloyd?
Yeah.
And naive babyface Lloyd and Dan didn't used to track anything other than just the amount of money that people said they were going to pay us, pretty much. I'm talking like this is when we just first started in business, and we were pretty bad with finances. I remember getting a phone call when I was on holiday when I thought from our bodged Excel spreadsheet, it looked like we were doing quite well. And we kind of got a wake up call when we realized we weren't tracking cash flow. We were, we hadn't been paid. We were invoicing people at the end of the month and giving 30-day payment terms. And you rung me pretty sort of in a negative mood telling me that. And we're in a pretty bad place. Since then, we've learned how to actually sort of manage our accounts and things. I guess from that journey, what advice would you give someone who's listening who may still be using Excel spreadsheets? And
yeah, I guess I completely underestimated when we started the business the value that really getting your head around your finances and managing them carefully has. I just thought like it's another thing you have to do. Like, oh, it's another thing, like kind of admin thing. You just got to find time to do. So you just have to do it. That's rubbish. Just got to do that sometimes.
It's a bit more important than that.
Yeah. When obviously, thankfully, I learned years ago that's not the case because we would have failed by now. But I think now, like accurately being able to forecast future cash and profit and that kind of thing, I've said it before, it's like a superpower. Like suddenly, right, in 3 months, we're going to have this much money in the bank and we will have made this much. And then you can make that decision of, okay, let's hire this person. Oh, okay. For us, it's like, okay, let's buy that new camera lens. Okay, let's invest in this for the studio. Okay, let's give bonuses of this much to the staff. It's that kind of thing. Whereas if you don't really have a good track on things and you don't know where you're going to be in the next few months, you don't really know where you are currently financially, it's so hard to make sensible decisions. So it will either limit you. You won't be spending and investing in the business because you won't really know if you have enough money. Or I think what more commonly happens is you spend money that actually you don't have. Like it's in the bank at the moment, but the next 2 months your bank balance is going down and would have actually been a bad decision.
What was going through your head when just before you made that phone call to me when I was on holiday, when you realised that the Excel spreadsheets were wrong?
I think I thought, oh, it's happening again. Lloyd's shit with money, because I like to think
History repeating itself.
I like to think I'm so good with money now, like the best out of almost anyone.
He's basically
I know.
a millionaire.
No, that's not what I mean. I don't mean like best at making money and investing. I mean like at not being shit with money, like budget. Obviously, because of what I have to do at work, budgeting and forecasting and all tax stuff, all this stuff. Whereas at university, I mean,
when they gave free money to you, when all the credit cards just emailed you saying, "Do you want to?"
I used to get £2,000 in my bank. I think it was like 3 times a year or something for my student loan.
Baller.
Yeah. Well, I'd literally never seen more than 50 quid in my life. And then I would just never check my balance until my card was rejected when I hit my £1,500.
This is not financial advice.
So that's just, I would just get money, £2,000, go all the way to my £1,500 overdraft. So 3.5 grand on Dominoes and vodka, basically. And then I'd just be in a club buying girls who weren't interested in me, shots probably. And then it would get rejected and I'd be kind of like, oh, right. It's that point that happens 3 times a year.
Did you not I'm not trying to like patronize you, but did you not understand there was a connection with like the plastic card thing that was paying for everything and like actual money that you had to give back?
My head in the sand. I thought that sounds...
You buried your head in the vodka.
That sounds like a future Lloyd's problem. That does not sound like current Lloyd's problem. And I remember there was a point when I got a payday loan out.
Oh, you didn't?
From Wonga to pay my loan payment that I got out because I ran out of overdraft. That was when it got to the worst point.
And And sorry, what financial advice have you got for the listeners?
If you need more cash, a wonga. No. So that's how I felt. I've gone from being so bad with money at university and kind of basically learning the hard mistakes because after that I just had to earn, like, obviously my other friends were earning money and doing nice things, and I was earning money to pay my wonga loan
For literally
back.
years, wasn't it?
And then, and then pay my next loan back and then get out of my overdraft. And I was like, oh, that wasn't worth the 3 years afterwards, having to work and having no money.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the why I went into that is quite interesting. I basically learned the lessons of being rubbish with money.
Yeah.
And that's what made me so good now. And I check our cash flow and our profits like almost every day to see where we are and budget absolutely every, like our teas and coffees and that sort of stuff. Even has a budget and everything you can think of. So yeah, I guess if you're not good with money, good thing is I wasn't at one point.
Yeah.
And now I manage lots of money and pay everyone's wages and all that sort of thing.
And pay people twice by accident sometimes.
One time. That literally happened one time. They're not going to believe me now.
No.
I'm really good with money.
So yeah, I guess, is there any something, I know you have your head in more than me, but like our Xero accounting software has been really useful for managing our finances and stuff. And there's lots of content they've got to teach you, like newbies, how to use that and things.
And the reports you can get and stuff. Like I'm saying, I use the budget manager to set budgets and future income of work we know we've got, that we've won, or if you have a different type of business, you can forecast sales based on previous data and stuff. And then, as I said, use that to make decisions. So my biggest tip on this is don't use cash in the bank as that number as a basis for whether you should spend money or not, because normally that cash amount has no link to how well your business is doing. Like, you may have done well 2 months ago and one big customer's paid a big lump, but actually you've got costs associated with that over the next couple of months and less income coming in. So base your purchase decisions and investment and the money as a business owner, if you're a business owner, that you're taking out of the business, on profit reports. How much is the business actually making and how much is it forecasted to make or lose potentially? And base your decisions on that, not the number in the bank that says how much cash you've got today.
Good advice from finance guru Lloyd Knowlton.
Thank you very much.
Coming in at number 5,
marketing and branding. Building a recognizable brand and effectively marketing products or services can be difficult, especially for early age startups with limited budgets.
So I've got a bit of advice here. Something we made, basically we did a rebrand a while ago, because we used to be called KPS Digital Marketing, if you remember, Lloyd.
I do remember, Dan.
And we were doing it, we wanted to rebrand to something different, because I think I made the logo for that company on Illustrator, and I'm rubbish at design, and it looked terrible.
No.
Shut up. And it needed updating, basically. We were working with much bigger brands and we still had crappy branding. So our first step was to look for someone to just make a logo. And I think we paid someone like 500 quid. We got these logos made and they weren't that good, were they?
No.
They were pretty awful.
Yeah.
And we did a post, this is years ago now, we did a post like saying, which one do people like? And we got a few private messages from people that like trust us, like, they're really bad. Like, you need to actually...
People privately DMing. Probably none of those guys, to be honest. You should not.
Yeah. And we actually, who we did our rebrand with, Motel, are really, really good. And he private messaged us and gave us this long piece of advice on the direction he thought we should go in. And we did a whole project with him and rebranded to Knowlton and really happy with it. But I guess my piece of advice in like building your brand is don't cut corners when you've got the resource to do so. I think anyone starting out, you probably need to do things on a bit of a shoestring like we did with our old brand. But when you can afford to really sort of build that brand into something that you really look up to and you're proud of, then definitely invest in it.
I would also say, as a founder, focusing on making sure that you are marketing your business and building the brand for the long-term success. So I think there are some startups that rely solely on sort of salespeople. So it's like, okay, right, we're going to invest. We're starting up. It's me. I'm going to hire 2 salespeople. They're just going to work their arse off selling, and that will get our customers in. But the reality is, I think if you just rely on salespeople, it's a constant battle. If you're not building your brand at all or doing any good marketing for the long term, it will constantly be salespeople that you're relying on, and that's just will be a bigger battle the bigger you grow the business. And I think building that brand and doing the marketing for the long term, for us certainly, we've had people who've been like, "Oh, I've been following you for 4 years, and now we've got £50,000 budget for this project." And that's when you think, "Oh, thank God we had that long term mindset and actually did work hard on marketing our business every week since 2016."
I was going to say, prime example of us focusing on the long term, building the brand versus short term, was our first sort of big break with a brand that people actually have heard of rather than like your local calf. Was Eurotunnel, and the guy that approached us there, like you just said, had been I think when I started on Twitter, like back in 2015 or something, he saw some tweets, and since then we were like going to networking breakfast meetings and stuff, and he saw us there, and then over time he saw our content evolve and our projects and case studies evolve, and then literally like 4 years later he got in touch, like, got a project, and we did a project for them, and that was the first. I remember do you remember when we won it? And because we just worked with like very small local companies, which was fine, but it was like a huge step up for us. And I think I can't remember where I was. I just remember like calling you, and we were just literally jumping up and down in the air because we were that excited that we'd won a brand that people have heard of.
I was at a service station.
Oh yeah, that was it.
Really knew that for the first time it was a brand that at least people in the south of England and some parts of France recognised, and that was a really big win for us. I knew it was going to take things to the next level, and it did. That was a really big stepping stone for us.
Before we continue, Lloyd, can I just share a really cool way that you can use Adobe Express with ChatGPT to create content for LinkedIn that drives 2.2 to 3.4 times the engagement of a normal post?
Yes, yeah, you can.
Obviously, for those that have been listening to the podcast, know that Adobe Express is one of our sponsors, and there's a really cool way that you can use Adobe Express and ChatGPT to create LinkedIn document posts that generate lots of reach and engagement. And I want to talk that through with you.
I want to know how now.
There's 3 simple steps. So
you're going to tell us all 3?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you 3. Okay. Yes, thanks, Lloyd. Sure. So, firstly, just to give you an idea of the strategy. So I don't know if you remember this, Lloyd, but back in the day, I used to write these influencer lists where I'd list like the top 100 digital marketing influencers, and I'd write an article and then reach out to all the influencers and say, "Hey, you're on this list."
I do remember that.
And they'd share it, and it would drive traffic to our website. It was like quite a cool strategy.
Yeah.
So this taps into that. Inverted commas, influencers sort of like their ego being stroked. They like to be put on these lists and to be recognized as, top people in their industry. Yeah. So something you can do with Adobe Express and ChatGPT is to ask ChatGPT to give you a list of the top most influential people in a certain industry. So it could be like the top accountants in a certain country or the world, or it could be the top 10 marketers or whoever it is in your industry that your audience are going to be interested in. And it will give you a list of people. Then you can go over to Adobe Express and create a LinkedIn document post where you use one of their templates to create slides with a visual of the kind of influencer on and a bit of text about them. So you've got like a really cool LinkedIn document post list with a title slide like the top 10 accountants in Jamaica, or I don't know, wherever you want to do it from. And then I don't know if you remember, we've talked a lot about this before, but Richard Vanderblom's 57-page LinkedIn algorithm report said that when LinkedIn document posts get 2.2 to 3.4 times the engagement of a normal post. So you can create these document posts, post them on LinkedIn, and then one extra sort of hack is to then message these influencers to tell them, "I've just created a post of the top accountants in Jamaica and you're on it." And a percentage of them will engage with it and help spread the message.
Share it, spread the message, and then suddenly your business is growing because everyone's following you and seeing the great stuff you do.
Yes.
And then you're a millionaire.
Yeah. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, Adobe Express have some really nicely designed templates templates that you can use to create this type of content. And that's just like a little strategy you can use to get in front of more people on LinkedIn.
Thanks, Dan. I'll do that right now.
Cool. So back to our list. Number 6, Lloyd.
Number 6 is coming at you in part 2.
Oh, there's a part 2.
There's a part 2. Cliffhanger. See, we told you the best ones are at the end.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we hope you listen to this. We didn't want to make you listen to even more because we know certainly Charles Maloney tells me normally our podcast length fits perfectly in his work commute. So we wouldn't want to make it too much longer, would we, Charles? So,
shout out.
Yeah, we will see you in
your
your
ears
ears next week.